Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're going to do a reading. This is going to be a love reading because that's what has been wanting to come out. So we're just going to go with it, see what's going on. So just, as a reminder, not everything in this reading is meant for you. And if it resonates with you, then, it's yours. If it doesn't, then don't take it on because it's not yours. Right? Because there's a lot of people that I'm reading for, so not everything is going to be exactly your situation. Sometimes it'll be, more fit for some other people in certain areas, whereas in some other areas it's meant for you, okay? All right, so what are we starting out with here? Ooh, the future. So we're starting out with looking at the future. And what is it of the future that we're looking at? Something beautiful. Okay, this beauty and vanity and suspension behind the mask. So it's almost like you're waiting on something in the terms of love. You're looking towards the future, and it's like you've been waiting for a very long time. You've been waiting for this new love to come in for the longest time, and it seems like it's, to you, it doesn't seem like it's coming like when you want it to, and it seems like we're waiting forever, guarding the treasure. So it's probably not coming in because you're feeling guarded still, and it could, relate to like past relationships, anything like that. And next we have is bravery and lifting the nightmare. So sometimes we just have to, be brave, have the strength, have the courage and everything like that to literally take those boundaries that we put on ourselves and on our hearts and that guardedness and, be okay with letting it go. Be okay with, the possibility of opening back up and allowing that new love to come in, because it's not going to come in if you keep sitting there and guarding yourself and shielding yourself because of the past pain and trauma and the experiences that you've gone through. And it's like you're wanting it to come in, but it's just not coming in because you're not letting it come in, And I don't feel like it's going to be the same as it's ever been. Like, whatever's coming in is new. I feel like it's a new energy. It's an ambitious energy. It's a youthful energy. It's a balanced energy. It's something where it's a relationship where it's going to have that reciprocal connection. And that's not something that you had, and you're looking toward here. Look, we're looking towards the future again. We're looking towards the future. We are looking and seeing of all the possibilities that are in front of us. All of the possibilities and, all of our manifestations, all the things that we're wanting, our goals, our dreams, all of this stuff. Okay. And we're hoping that it's not going to be a tower. But the thing is that sometimes, the tower card is not always bad. It could be that wall that you built around your heart, and you got to tear that down. You literally got to break away from the old and really embrace the new. And sometimes that's what the Tower card's about. It's about getting rid of the old and making way for the new. Letting go of an old lifestyle and bringing in a new one. And you know what? You are the creator of that lifestyle. You get to choose how you want it to be. So don't settle for anything less, because you're a great person. You're a great and magical person with the ability to do all kinds of things. You're a hard worker. You've been working hard to get your life in order. You've been working hard to literally make sure that, you're not going to allow somebody to walk all over you like you did in the past, because you're a nice person. Two of Cups, you're wanting somebody to come in that's going to give to you just as much as you give to them. You're not going to allow yourself to be taken advantage of anymore. You're going to have that reciprocal, relationship where it's like you guys are both working together to build with each other, build a foundation and a future, something that, like you've been dreaming of, like you're your wildest imagination of a relationship, of what it could be. But the thing is that you feel scared. Excuse me. You feel scared. And it's okay to feel scared, you know, but you don't have to. You know, I don't know if you see, but these people, they're wearing a collared necklace that you could easily pick up and take off of your head. You know, you put yourself in that small, limited mindset of thinking that the things that you've experienced are the things that you're going to continue to experience. But you're not always going to continue the same things. Not every relationship is built the same. And that's something that we have to realize. Okay? You know, you got to allow, at the bottom of the deck, you got to allow things to come in. You have to allow that. And you really got to, you know, stand in your power and make that choice. You know, you feel like you're in a crossroads of like, well, should I allow this? Should I let my guard down? Should I, you know, open myself back up to love? Should I see that there's a potential and a possibility that it's not going to be the same as it has been, you know, or am I going to be hurt again? You know, are you going to feel hurt and it's like you feel like things are stacked against you like they have been in the past? But it's not going to be like that, you know, unless you want it to. And if you're living in that fear, you're telling the universe that that's what you want, because you're limiting yourself to the possibility that those are the only relationships that you can have. You know, you have to like look inside yourself and see that there's a potential, that there's something else out there and you just haven't seen it yet. You haven't experienced it yet, you know, and that's okay. Queen of Swords, you know, it's just also being patient and being secure in your own self. But don't let the things that you say limit you. You know, I mean, it's okay to be strong and have the strength and, you know, to have higher standards and stuff like that, because it's important not to settle. Don't settle for anything less than you know that, you know, you'd like to experience. You know, it's like you're so much more than you give yourself credit for. And here we go. The Hermit card's coming back up again. You just need to look inside yourself and see that there's so much more in you. There's so much more to experience in the world around us. It's not always the same, you know? And like there's an emotional abundant, you know, possibility and potential out there that you could choose to experience if you choose to, you know? So don't have the fear of it, because wishes are coming in. You know, these things are coming in. You know, it's the thing that you want, the thing that you've always wanted in life, you know, when it comes to having relationships. So, like, when it comes in, don't turn it away. You know, sit down, take a minute and see and feel with all that you are, is this relationship really going to be different? You know, are you going to have the strength, you know, to tear down those walls and see, you know, the potential of what it possibly could be, rather than continuously staying in the same mindset of what you've always known, because you don't have to. There's always, you know, a chance and always potential that it could change. It could be different. But, you know, there's always light at the end of the tunnel of like hard relationships. You know, what have you learned from them? What are all of the things that you've learned, you know, about yourself, about the way that, you know, you would like to have a relationship to go, you know, how you would like the flow of it to go, the communication to go, you know, in all of these past relationships you've experienced, you've kind of had a gist of the experiences that you don't want, okay, and what you would like instead. So if you continuously focus on the things that you don't want, then you're not focusing on the things that you would like, you know? So it's like you're focusing on the negativity and not of the positivity. So if you just change your mindset and, you know, allow yourself to see that there's different possibility and potential out there, that it could be different, then you would really, who knows, surprise yourself. Let the universe surprise you. Let the universe literally give you what you deserve, and don't settle. You don't have to settle. If you start seeing these things that, and that you don't choose to have, you don't have to settle for somebody that does those things. There's plenty of fish out there in the ocean. You don't have to say, I'm only going to eat this one type of fish. There's all kinds of different stuff out there that you could choose from. You don't have to keep doing the same one. Work through your fears. You do. You got to work through your fears of, oh, it's always going to be the same. It's always going to be the same. No, it doesn't have to be. If you want it to be, it can be. But, what do you need to release? Yeah, release these things. Release the fears. Release these self-limiting beliefs, the self-doubt, because you're so much more than you think you are. I keep saying this because I feel that you have like a low self-esteem or some kind of like self-doubt where you're looking at yourself in limited, potential. The end of a tough cycle approaches. It is. It's the end of the same repetitive relationships that you've had. These new relationships are coming in. It's beautiful, time for healing. It is. It's a time for you to heal from these past emotions, from the past heartache, from the, all of those traumas and stuff like that. You're very close to achieving your goal. You are. This new love that's coming in is coming in because you're starting to love yourself. You're starting to see who you are. You're starting to realize your potential, what you, want, what you choose, believe in the possible. And, you're coming to realize that, if I could follow my dreams, and do the things that I'm passionate about and it be successful, then I'm loving myself. And when you're loving yourself, somebody will come in and love you too for who you are. So don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of having your heart broken, because you've had your heart broken already so many times. It's like that cycle of the continuous heartache is over. You love yourself more. You're a different person than you were. You're yourself, and you don't have to try to be anybody else at all. You're happy with yourself. You're coming to that place, and that centered place where it's like you love and you embrace all of who you are, and it's all of who you are, wholeness, and you love it. You really flow so well and so stress-free, just living your life authentically. And when you're doing that, continuance, and you continue to do that, then the whole world around you is going to support that, because you're supporting that within yourself. All right? You're loving yourself. You're giving yourself that love. So just open up, don't be afraid, and don't be afraid of love, and just allow yourself to really fully enjoy your life. You fully enjoy yourself. So just relax a little bit, and everything will be okay. Until next time. See ya.